and book your next appointment.
Hi, this is Evan Cohen. Listen to me in the morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on Unsportsmanlike.
The Heat. Yeah,
Hold
that's
on.
right.
Let me explain something to you.
Right.
No,
LeBron and the
listen to me.
Pacers. Remember that?
This proves how
yeah.
difficult it is to get to the finals. All the Cavs fans that want to tell everybody how good they are, guess what? My team, the culture, Jimmy Butler then, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra. It is really hard to get to the NBA Finals. And my team got there twice. We're on Sportsmanlike.
Right here on ESPN 106.3.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Introducing DQ Grill and Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all-white meat seasoned chicken strips now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is s'mores and mixing bowl mashup. Fresh cookie dough bites and brownie batter for a unique sweet treat. Don't forget a DQ Grill and Chill cake this season. Stop in and pick one up or get a custom order. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Hey, end of week edition, May the 9th, 2025. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez helping us out at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Got a packed program ahead, 2 hours right here on ESPN 106.3. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Rafael Devers said he will not even consider playing first base despite the injury to Christian Casas of the Boston Red Sox. We got the Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs Game 3 tonight. We got Celtics-Knicks Game 3 tomorrow. The Warriors lost last night to nobody's surprise. The T-Wolves ended up putting together a pretty good game. The Warriors hung around better than I guess I expected. But that series is tied 1-1 going to Golden State. That Game 3 will be tomorrow. Lots to talk about, lots to do right here on ESPN 106.3 with 888-760-3776 being the number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. Rafael Devers, who has been, he's a $300 million player, who is a premier bat in Major League Baseball, who's a pretty good fielder, who is getting paid a whole lot of money by the Boston Red Sox to be a good hitter, but also to be deployed in the field. When they made the decision to go get Alex Bregman in the offseason, Alex Bregman, who is an elite glove and a very good bat, and Bregman, to nobody's surprise, is a big game player and is putting together quite a season for the Boston Red Sox. So the Red Sox go and say, well, we're paying Rafael Devers all this money. We can't just have him DH. We don't have as good of a lineup in the field defensively to make it worth it to utilize a DH on one of our best overall players. And because of this, they asked Devers, this came up in spring training, and this has now come up again due to his translator basically giving a press tour and explaining of why he will not do it. Rafael Devers said he will not go play first base. He doesn't see the reasoning, and based on his translated answer, he goes, I quote, I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put away my glove. I wasn't going to play another position other than DH. Right now, I don't think it would be an appropriate decision for them to ask me to play another position. So he is going, oh, well, they told me a month and a half ago that I didn't need to do it. And then all of a sudden, when their first baseman gets hurt for a long period of time with a knee injury in Casas, all of a sudden, hey, we got a void, and we're filling it by committee at the moment. We got Devers sitting right there. You know, it's not rocket science to play first base in Major League Baseball, and he says no.
It's the easiest position, arguably.
Can players do this?
I think it's Bush League. I think Boston should have probably read the writing on the wall before the season. You're already having problems with Devers trying to get him to transition to not being in the field every day, and then you're going to go up to him and ask him to play first base. I think Devers is in the wrong. Don't get it twisted. But at the same time, if you're the Red Sox, what do you expect? And that first base position, not to get too into it, Rami Gonzalez and Abraham Toro, okay, they probably need him to play first base, to be quite honest. I don't see this kind of anyone getting any ground made. I don't think this situation is going to be able to turn into Devers playing first base. I think he's completely fine playing DH and telling the team to, I'm not doing this. And
it sounds like he's high grounding them, thinking, hey, well, hold on. You told me to play DH. I'm going to be DH.
Yeah, Kyle, this situation tells me that the Red Sox might be ready to move on from now. It's a big contract. But with everything that happened in the offseason and everything that's happening now, do they really want to deal with the distraction that is Devers? Some of these players that are coming up have been playing well, too. Some of their young players that have come up have played well as well. Not to get too into it, like I said, but you wonder when enough is enough for Devers. You wonder when enough is enough for the Red Sox in this current situation.
He's on a $310 million contract over a 10-year deal. He's under contract until 2033. And relatively cheaper than it could be based on how much a big star player is being paid nowadays. But he's under contract until he's 36 years old. He's currently 28. So he is going to be in the mix, under contract for a long period of time. So if you were to, like you said, explore the option of moving him, well, in order to go get a player for the next 8 years that is completely under your control for $28 million a year for a rich team is not that much.
Yeah.
They're going to have to give up a whole lot. I don't think teams are going to go get him. Problem being is I don't understand why he's being petty about this. Well, you got moved out of third. Yeah, there's probably an ego shot. I get it. But Bregman comes in, and Bregman's playing great. He fits the jersey perfectly. He's great in the field. Listen, you can hate Bregman all you want for his time with Houston, but nobody's denying that he's a great player. And then you got Rafael Devers sitting there saying, well, hold on. You asked me to move out of the field, now you want me to move back in? That's not fair. And to his credit, the one thing I'll say is he's logged no innings there as a major leaguer. But the idea that he's not even going to try, what is the point of that? You're not even going to try. They're asking you to. And if you're getting paid a whole lot of money by this team, and you're going to dictate the rules that we only need to use you in one half of the game, no defense and all offense?
It's like us telling our boss, Brian, if our content director, Brian Rowitz, came up to us and said, we're going to move Russo and Rizzo back an hour. It's going to be 3 to 5. No, we're not doing that. Kyle, just say, Brian, we're not going to do that.
I think it would be different. It would be more along the lines of like saying, Mike, we're going to turn you into a full-time producer. And then they're going to ask you, Mike, do you want to be a host on a different show? And you're just like, no, I like being a producer. And you're getting paid the same amount of money.
Now, Colin, baseball, we've seen something like this, players refusing to change positions, in recent history. Gleyber Torres refused to move from second base when Chaz Chisholm got traded to the Yankees. But that was because of another player. Gleyber was because of another player. This situation is because Devers just straight
There's
up.
A void.
Yeah,
There's a void.
Like Devers is just straight up. Like he's hi-hatting a bit. Would you agree? He's hi-hatting a bit.
He's being petty about it. They're saying, hey, Devers, we're in a tough spot here. We got a big injury. We got to fill this up. And Devers is saying, well, go get somebody. Don't worry about me. Go get somebody. I've gotten comfortable in my DH role. This is somebody who started off the season with about 15 strikeouts in his first 20 at-bats. Keep that in mind. And he's saying, no, I'm good. I like the DH. I realize how much less work it is to not have to work in the field, and I'm making $30 million just to hit. Not even hit that great at that.
Yeah, gosh.
So that's why this is a little stupid. The fact that these players who are making that much money, I understand giving your input. But if it's in the field or not in the field, period, and He's not going to be a terrible glove at first because it's hard to be a terrible glove. It's hard to be an awful glove at first. It is, especially with third base experience. It's hard to be an awful glove at first.
The balls are hit less hard and less.
It's just you're less movement. The whole thing.
Yep.
It's hard to be Aaron Judge moved positions. Bryce Harper moved positions. Might have been conversations surrounded it, but Aaron Judge is willing to play center field. Bryce Harper is willing to play first base.
The one that comes to mind for me is Miguel Cabrera, shortstop, third base, and then ultimately first base for the last couple of years there in Detroit.
A-Rod moved positions. I understand because that was Jeter was there, but the guys move, and they understand where their role needs to shift. All right, this Red Sox team is a different team than it was 2 years ago, and therefore we don't need third base. We need first base. And we need you to help us here. It's not even like we need you, we want you to play here because we're going to make your life difficult. It's our life is difficult, and you need to make our lives easier.
It's selfish.
It is.
Call for it is. It's very selfish. It was selfish for Devers to be completely dealable in the preseason and in the spring training. And then this year going into the year, all right, he finally figured out DH. Now he struggled. Really, really struggled for the play call. I think it was like 12 strikeouts in his first 16 at-bats. And then now they need him to step up and play first base. And he's saying, nope, I'm all good. Very selfish. And that's why I think a trade and a possible...
Well, you're not... How are you going to trade him? How are you going to trade him? He's got 8 years on his contract. Who's going to come dancing for him? For a guy who's not going to play in the field? That's the problem.
I think a team... I hear you on that, but I do think a team would come... At
mid-season, too.
Team, I think, might come knocking at the trade deadline. To your point, maybe not the time or place right now, but I think once the trade deadline
inches closer. If you're the Red
closer,
Sox and the AL is wide open, you're not racing to deal this guy.
It's a 2-game lead. The Yankees have a 2-game lead right now on the Sox.
You're not going. Why are you racing to deal this guy? What, you want to get worse just because this guy won't play first? That's a tricky spot. I wouldn't do that.
I'm not in the locker room, right? Is this going to be something that's going to affect other players? Is this going to be turned into a cancer in the locker room?
It's just he's being difficult. I want to play it my way and my way only. And it goes to me, can players even say no? Are players allowed to say no in these types of situations?
According to his translator, he is.
Maybe it's different sport to sport, but especially baseball, where it's such a secure specialist game. These guys do this well. These guys are our pitchers. These guys are our catchers. These guys are our platoon infielders, platoon outfielders, pinch hitters, runners. Everybody's got a specialty. But if you're a guy who's getting paid $30 million a year, he's got a $300 million contract, to saying that I'm not doing this. I don't think this is fair for them to... Fair is the word. I don't think this is fair for them to ask. Fair! You're making $300 million. Don't talk to us about fair. You want to know what's fair is you not playing defense when we're paying you $300 million. That's not fair.
I feel like you could only butt heads with management until enough is enough, right? You can only keep being a problem until enough is enough. I think sooner than later they're going to get sick of this Devers shtick of him not cooperating with anything they want to do. It's anything you do in life too, by the way.
This is a very tricky position because this is a team that is going to be in the mix in that AL East race and throughout the postseason, most likely, based on the talent that they have. And they suffer a terrible injury at their first baseman, and they got a guy sitting there at DH, and it gives them some maneuverability if they're able to make him an everyday first baseman because he's an everyday player. He is going to be your DH every single day. Righties, lefties, the whole thing.
Yep.
So if you're able to move him to an everyday position instead of platooning a defensive position and trying to figure out, we'll do this guy against this pitcher and this guy against that pitcher, you could just have him there, make him a mainstay for the time being, and then be able to utilize your hitting creatively. Mm-hmm. It makes the team better if you're willing to do that. If you go out there for 5 games and you're awful at first, all right, you know what? We gave it a shot. And I can't even knock them for that. All right, this is not his position. He's not really adjusting well to this. But if you're a $300 million, 28-year-old player, what do you want to be, a DH? You want to be Stanton for the rest of your life? Stanton can't move. That's the reason he's a DH. Even he played in the outfield until his 30s.
And the reason they're in this shoot is because Tristan Casas, their great young first baseman, had that horrible injury about 2 weeks back. So if he doesn't get hurt, we're not having these conversations, but things change. Seasons happen. These teams aren't the same when you start the season. So I think Devers needs to kind of man up a bit here and go, all right, what do I have to do to put my team in the best position to win? And he's simply not doing that right now.
And he said, go get a player.
And he hasn't done that for a while. Kyle, can I take it a step further? Remember when last year, when the Red Sox didn't necessarily go out and get a big name in free agency, he went to the media and was like, God, that's it? We didn't get anyone else? Like, great, I got paid, but like no one else is coming in to help us out? Fast forward a year later. All right, there's this Bregman stink. Okay, you could look past it. The season starts. He strikes out at almost at a major league record clip. He is terrible to begin the year as a DH. Found his footing a little bit now, batting back to about 256 homers, whatever. And then
he's pitching. He's hitting better now.
And then now he's being asked to play first base, and now this is an issue. This is straw number 3. Complaining about getting nobody after signing a big contract, not wanting to budge when it came to the Bregman situation, and now not wanting to play first base after the Tristan Casas injury.
Are you in the team that players can say no?
No.
Ever?
I'm not.
If LeBron says no, you're going to agree with LeBron.
Can I get context? Can you give me a situation?
I'm giving you a principle. Can players say no?
I don't think so, man. And I don't think LeBron would say no.
We could probably think of a moment or two where LeBron said no.
He would get the coach fired. That fair?
So instead of saying no, he would get the guy. Hear me out. To get the guy out of a job.
LeBron would do it, pout, do it well, and the guy would be fired. David Blatt.
There is guys who are willing to adjust. Basketball, football, hockey.
Kobe adjusted with Phil.
Major League Baseball. Guys adjust. Aaron Judge moved positions. That is the most important player in baseball. He was willing to do it. They could put Ohtani anywhere, and he'll learn how to play it. And he wouldn't complain.
And I feel like baseball's different in that sense, right? But to your point, if we want to generalize this about all sports, there probably are a couple of guys that could get away with this just because their pedigree of player. I don't think Devers is one of those players. Would you agree? Could get away with it?
But I don't think anybody can get it. If Judge didn't do it, then why should anybody do it? Why should anybody call their own shots there?
Trust me, I said no. I said I don't think the players would be willing to say no. Now, if it was something egregious, like, do you want to know what I hate? Being a small market fan of a team, I hate when an infielder tries to move to the outfield. I think that's the biggest waste of time ever. How's that working for O'Neal Cruz in Pittsburgh this year? How'd that work for Jason Kipnis in Cleveland all those years back? That's a nightmare. I can't take that serious. If a guy complains guy's never played a major league at bat in the outfield.
Well, hold on. How can he say that? But then Rafael Devers, who hasn't done a single,
but it's different. Like, dude, it's third. There's not much, dude. Around the ball diamond. Kyle, hear me out. Around the ball diamond. All right, you could play outside of shortstop. I think if you're third baseman, second baseman, first baseman, you can play all those positions. Short's a little different. I think you got to be more athletic to play short. The throw is longer. I think shortstop's different.
But Baez can play in the. If you're play short, you can play anywhere in the outfield. But that's the bottom line. If you're a shortstop, you can play anywhere in the outfield. You can play anywhere on the field. The best glove on a team is at short.
I've seen infielders fail too much in the outfield to agree with that.
I understand, but Javi Baez is playing in the outfield. He's doing fine. So they have there's for one yes, there's a no. I understand the idea, but if my point being is that the quickest, twitchiest, not the best athletes, but twitchiest gloves need to be in the infield. If great players have done it before, then Rafael Devers should not be an exception. I am not a fan of a player making that much money. And it's not even just for the sake of doing it. When you want to talk about the Bregman situation, I understand being upset by that. We don't need a third baseman. Why'd you go get a third baseman? I understand the idea of being upset by that. I understand, but I'm also on the team of you got to make your team better, and he makes your team better, and he was willing to go to the Red Sox. But if you're going to flip that and say, well, we have a void. It's not even we're getting somebody because we want to. It's because we need you to fill this spot. And then all of a sudden you're like, go get somebody. Go get a first baseman. Go get a first baseman. We're a month into the season. You want us to go digging in the trade market already?
Yeah.
How does that help us? That gives us no leverage. How are we supposed to make a good deal in that way? What team is looking to sell at this point? We got to wait a month and a half. Well, we need you now. Mm-hmm. We need you tomorrow.
This is, and if this doesn't work out for Devers, you got to maybe look at AAA, bring a glove up here for a couple
I know, weeks and then you got a hole in the lineup.
Exactly. Hole in the lineup, Colin, and maybe you know how these young players are when they come up. If they're not ready, all hell could break loose. They could .83 with 15 strikeouts and 18 at bats.
You want to hold in the lineup? Yeah, that's it. All right, well, we're going to call a guy up. Well, he's a first baseman. He's a little experienced. He hasn't necessarily had a big league. Let's have him start at Yankee Stadium on Saturday at first. We'll hit in the 8th spot. We'll see what happens. And then all of a sudden when he goes 0 for 4.
And he's not ready.
Yeah, he's not ready. And Devers is, sitting at DH, with recovery boots on when everybody's in the field. That's not fair.
He throws the biggest wads of tobacco I've ever seen in baseball, too.
Like, what are you doing? Go help the team. There's a void. I cannot understand that. And I'm like, if a receiver, a running back, gets asked to change their role, change their position, linebackers get new coaches in, all of a sudden you turn from a 3-4 to a 4-3. You got to get more hand in the dirt. Now you got to turn into more coverage.
We're not doing that, Colin.
They don't do that. They're willing to do that. If you want to turn to a nickel coverage, now all of a sudden a box safety or a corner can move to safety. All right, well, we can figure this out. A nickel corner can turn to safety. It's happened before. They'll do it because we got to do whatever we can for the team to be good.
I'll even give you another baseball one. Starters going to relievers. Relievers going to starters.
Closers moving out of the role. Clay Holmes, he wants to be a starter, all of a sudden moves from a reliever to a starter when he's had success as a reliever.
It's not a team first move. That's my big takeaway.
Right, and I don't think it's setting off a good message. And all of a sudden, if and when, Abraham Toro doesn't cut it at first base, and Devers is sitting there thinking that, well, I don't know if I'd be good at it, but I know I'm not going to try it, then that looks bad. That is a hole in the camaraderie and the fluidness of the team.
Could almost promise you that Abraham Toro's not going to cut it at first.
So, you want a hole in the lineup and in the field? Go try it. Call Bryce Harper. See if he was willing to do it.
That's a tough spot, though. Casas goes out. Your star player refusing to play first.
Tough spot.
You got 2.
Are you spiting the team here? Are you spiting them? That's what it sounds like. You're spiting your team because they went and got Alex Bregman. All right, you told me you don't want me in the field because you went and got Bregman.
Yep.
Therefore, I'm not going back into the field ever again because I realized I actually like DH because I don't have to work on my glove.
Selfish.
That's the word. Selfish. 888-760-3776. Are you on the team of players of his stature, of any stature in professional sports, saying no to coaches on team ideological moves? Can they move positions? Can they say no? Can they control that? Basketball is probably the exception. Basketball players kind of control the ship. But it doesn't happen in baseball. It rarely happens in the MLB. It's a little selfish from Rafael Devers. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez. We roll on here. 888-760-3776. Can players say no to team changes such as moving you? Please help us at first. Should they consider moving off of Devers now? Is it too far gone? Is the relationship too strained? Let us know. 888-760-3776. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Mansour's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Mansour's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
We also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
It's a Citrus Series showdown as the Marlins take on the Rays, May 16th through 18th, and the weekend lineup is stacked. Friday, the smash hit Barbie Game Day is back. Turn the ballpark pink with exclusive jerseys and fun bites. Saturday, celebrate the legendary Celia Cruz with live music, vibrant energy, and purchase a special Celia-themed Cuban Heritage jersey designed by local artist Dism 305. Then Sunday, it's family fun and our first ever Celia Cruz bobblehead giveaway. Join the party. Get your tickets now at marlins.com/tickets.
Attention business owners, the next several months are going to be super busy. Why not let us take some of the burden off of you? Get the help you need from Intelligent Office in Palm Beach Gardens. Professional live receptionists to answer, screen, and forward all of your calls to you live. Why do you need a virtual assistant? No high salaries, no holidays or sick pay, no call-outs, no turnover, and no additional equipment. Call 561-472-8400 or visit intelligentoffice.com to learn more how we can help you streamline your day.
Yeah, man. Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez. Been a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall. My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. The type to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call to take back control of your life today. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation now. Call 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Well, I saw today, because rookie camp on the NFL side of things is, I guess, underway for most of the teams.
Yep.
Bengals rookie defensive end Shamar Stewart said he is not participating in any on-field work until his contract is finalized. How about that?
The Bengals can't get away from that stuff.
So when we say guys can say no, well, football players say no all the time in terms of, this guy's a rookie. He hasn't even, he's been in the building for 6 hours, and he's already holding out. How about that? That's it's bizarre. Very, very strange.
Is it different because it's money?
Yes. Yeah, it's different because it's money. But you got guys already holding out. Jeez. I mean,
and since taking it a step further, Jamar Chase wanted a contract forever. T. Higgins wanted a contract forever. They just draft this rookie. They just draft him like, oh, God, thank God we got 5 years to control this first-round contract. Not so fast.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I mean, geez. These guys can't. And nobody's going to run away with stories like people talking about players at rookie camps. This is the worst time of the year in the NFL because these rookie camps mean absolutely nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. 94% of the people that are there are not making the roster. And it's a big tryout except for your 5 to 6 draft picks that are going to make the team. And then it's all of a sudden, people are just desperate for football. Everybody just, junkies looking for it. Isn't that bizarre? It really is. And you got Shamar Stewart sitting out. You got Rafael Devers saying he's not going to first. Player empowerment.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many millions you're going to make or making. We control our own destiny. And there's some days where players or teams kind of shove that back in the player's face. Doncic trade really comes to mind in that regard, right?
Yeah, well, it's
almost like a never-ending battle between who has the triple beam balance of power dynamics between players and organizations, whether it be front offices or whether it be coaches. Jimmy Butler, butting heads with the Heat front office. All of a sudden, they ship him out. Luka Doncic, we had no idea that they were butting heads, and then they ship him out.
I don't even think Luka thought that either,
right?
To be fair.
And then all of a sudden, it happens all over the place. And then the players forcing themselves out in other situations.
Yep. And then
I want out.
And then to that point, like the retaliation of each side. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like the collective bargaining agreements on all sides, this, the CBAs, the players associations, these things are important because when you make these deals, this is the halfway point, right? When you make these deals for these collective bargaining agreements, this is where you put your troubles that you think are troubling you as a player, troubling you as a team. The common ground are those agreements. We talked a lot about how we think baseball's going to have a long lockout. I agree with you on that sense. And we're still, a year and a half, almost 2 years away from that?
2-3 years.
So we still got some time to figure that out. NBA, you mentioned, the players have the power at this point. The Luka thing is interesting because that was, in my opinion, totally ownership in Nico Harrison. Now, we could sit here and we talk about if Dallas is in better waters than the Lakers, I think.
But I think it's more to say about the actual dynamics between how much power that players think they have, the perception of power.
It is.
The actual power.
And Colin, that's why when you find players like Duncan, when you find players like Steph Curry, when you find, I'm trying to think of like long-time baseball, even like a guy like Judge. Judge ain't going to play for another team, maybe towards the back, but like guys who are fully bought in and invested to that organization, I respect that. And as somebody who's a big LeBron James fan and a big Cavalier fan, I wish LeBron would have just stayed with the Cavaliers his entire career, like a Steph Curry and whatever. But that's just not the cards that were dealt. Not all players are like that. But that's why that's a rare breed. Would you agree? Trout's but the problem is he's making a king's ransom, and that team stinks. But it's funny because that's probably the only scenario where you could probably throw a gripe with what I just said, right?
I mean, there's probably
guys
a couple
counting
more.
Cash. Who's counting cash, Colin? Getting fat in a good way, counting cash.
Wait, what? And suffering on a bad team?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's because to your point, if I'm gonna sit here and tell you, oh gosh, love a guy like that, I don't necessarily like Mike Trout doing that, Colin, because I wanted to see Mike Trout playing big games.
What about Myles Garrett?
Stop it.
What? Literally the same principle.
Damian, I need you for this one because obviously I love Myles, but he's probably right.
That's the same thing.
He's probably right.
There is a line between
why'd you go there?
Players
Why'd you go there?
Soaking in the money on bad teams, and also all of a sudden they're loyal and they're willing to do whatever it takes.
Hang on. You mentioned that it's rookie camp. Shadur's here to save the day, Kyle.
Oh God.
He's gonna save the day.
Last one to walk off the field, apparently.
Absolutely.
Oh God.
Perfect. Hey, Dave, you want to know what I call that? Hashtag perfect timing. Hashtag legendary. My guy, Shadur.
Damien, are you under the impression that players have more power or organizations have more power?
No. I think players should be humble enough to give the organization, I don't want to say the power, but just
options.
The option, yes.
So you're Damien, we're soccer guys. So let's bring in Inter Miami real quick because we had a position change for Messi, Kyle. Messi usually comes off the right side. Javier Mascherano, the team was on a 3-game losing streak, Kyle. Very rare for the Herons because of the quality of their team and our competition. And Mascherano decided to play Messi as a striker with Luis Suarez, a 2-striker setup, which Dame was really popular for a long time in the early 2000s, not so much anymore. But arguably the greatest footballer of all time willing to switch positions.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't hear a peep from Messi, so why should other players have the entitlement to say, no, I'm not doing it?
That's the ding-ding word, entitlement. Why do you get to treat it any differently when there are better players than you willing to change things for the betterment of the team?
If we're talking specific,
I would not want a guy like that on my team. Just tomorrow. Done.
If we're talking specifically about Devers with that point too, the only thing I could chalk this up to is how the Red Sox handled him switching from third base to DH. I think this is his sweet revenge, which is sick.
Petty.
It's petty and I think sick. But and the Red Sox are a good team. They're 2 games out of first place. The wild card race right now, it's way too early to even look at it, but they're a half game out. They're going to be in the mix. This is a team that has enough quality to be in the mix. And to put yourself in front of the team and be that selfish is crazy.
And you put the team in a tremendously hard position because what are they supposed to do with you? All right, we're supposed to keep you happy sitting there rotting at DH, and through your trials and tribulations, your slumps and non-slumps, we're just supposed to sit there and take it? And then if we ever wanted to change or add anything to your career or to change things up, if for whatever reason we had a great bat and all of a sudden he was terrible in the field, didn't have any position, and you were better suited to take a position than he was, and you didn't want to do it, and all of a sudden you have 2 bats there, and then all of a sudden you got to figure out who to play who, where to play who to play where.
Yep.
That it's just problematic for everybody. Players that are unadaptable, is that if that's the word, or unwilling to change things, they drive me absolutely nuts. And Devers is a prime example. I wouldn't have him on my team in 10 years, like for 10 times out of 10. Forget it. You don't do enough good for me to make it worth it.
How about this answer too? And this is via Devers with his translator. I didn't think it'd be worth the rip to sound with the translator. I'd rather just say it. This is Devers. Right now, I don't think it would be appropriate. It would be an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position. I wasn't going to play another position other than DH. It's crazy, man.
Well, yeah. And he said that, and then that he was brought back their point. Well, they told me in spring training that I was just going to be a DH, and we're going to throw out your glove. And now we need you to pick up the glove again, and you won't do it. Stupid.
Forgive me for thinking he'd play say he actually has to play the position. He'd pout. He'd probably pout.
Well, even
I wouldn't put it past him.
If he stinks and we got to turn around, all right, fine.
I can't believe Devers is this much of a cancer. I loved Devers 3-4 years ago. Even when he said, I was on his side, Colin, when he said, hey, you guys signed me. Okay, great. But what else are we doing? Is this the only move happening this offseason? At the time, I'm like, yeah, this guy wants to win. And to be fair, I've been kind of waiting for the Red Sox to get back to Red Sox fashion. I've been on that the last couple of years. But these last 2 situations with Bregman and now with this situation of not wanting to play first base.
What are we going to knock the Red Sox now?
Yeah, exactly. Now it's a track record. All right, the first time it's all right. I kind of feel for Devers. I hear what he's saying. But now we're the third time around with Devers being a problem here. I can't take that serious, man. And to your point, I don't want those guys on my team. They're selfish, and we're trying to win ball games, and we're trying to win a championship in a wide open AL.
They got pitchers. They got another bat. They got an elite bat at that. Bregman, who is a top 7-8 player in the American League. Easy. Pretty stupid. Wouldn't want a guy like Rafael Devers on my team. Players, in a lot of cases, in most cases, I would say in all but a few contextual few, shouldn't say no to a team-bettering move like that just on their own personal interests. That, to me, when you're making $300 million, is a waste of time. Pat Riley had his end-of-season press conference just about a couple hours ago, and he said a couple interesting things about the future of the Heat, how he the perception surrounding how they ended the season, what he thinks where he thinks it's going to go. We'll break down what he was saying in his post-season press conference next. Stick around for it. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach. Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
This Mother's Day, give Mom a gift with endless possibilities. Give her a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach. The Breakers gift card lets you treat Mom to all the things she loves, like irresistible oceanfront getaways, lessons at the Breakers' new golf and racket club, pampering at the exquisite spa, and shopping at the resort's stylish collection of boutiques. Gift cards may also be used for dining at the Breakers' renowned restaurants and bars, including Echo, Henry's Palm Beach, HMF, and Flagler Steakhouse. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a $500 gift card online at thebreakers.com, you'll receive an additional $50 on that card, compliments of the Breakers. You can never repay Mom for all she's done, but a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach is a great way to start. Visit thebreakers.com today.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Pat Riley had his basically season-finishing press conference where he answered a bunch of pressing questions, I should say, in terms of the future of the Heat, the past of the Heat, what's to come, the whole thing. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach on ESPN 106.3. Pat Riley, somebody who's kind of been in hot water in terms of the perception, and the perspective of the Heat in terms of where they're going. Are they a little outdated in how they do things, how he does things? An alpha, as he self-proclaimed, as he said during the actual interview, or the press conference, I should say. He said a couple things that are very interesting in regard to how they're going to change things. What happened in the last game of the season when they lost by about 60 points to the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Stuck in a bit of a tough spot because you don't necessarily know where they're going, yet they're good enough to stay above water. Pat Riley was asked about if the Heat are going to, quote-unquote, run it back and go back at it with the same roster, same kind of mentality, basically the same X, Y, and Z as last year. And he had this to say. Pat Riley at his press conference.
Well, I call it ribbit. It's okay. IB, run it back. We're not going to do that. Or we're going to try to stay away from that. I'm sorry, ribbit? That's what I say every night to Chris when we watch that commercial. It is so cute. But anyway, we probably won't run it back, but it doesn't mean that, players aren't just going to show up. I mean, you have to make deals. You have to look at the board. You got to try to do something that's going to benefit with your team and your two key guys, if they're your key guys, and I think they are, plus a lot of other players. So I think we're probably in as good a situation as we could have ever been from a draft pick, young player, favorable contract situation in a long time, and especially at a time in the market that's hard to plan, like you're saying, because things will be spontaneous. But we're going to.
Pat Riley in his post-press conference, a little choppy there, but what he eventually said was, we got two key guys, and we like our two key guys, and we're not going to run it back, though. My takeaway is that Pat Riley made things one thing abundantly clear, like Heat always had. We are not willing to tear it all down and rebuild. We don't necessarily believe in that. But we are not stupid enough to think that what we have currently is sustainable. So I think they're going to do exactly, unfortunately, whether you like that or not, what the Heat fan anticipated was we are going to try to make this work by making changes, whether that be add a singular star. He did not rule that out earlier in the press conference. And utilize the Tyler Heroes, Bam Adebayos of the world and try to make this thing work.
Yeah, and I was about to ask, the two players are obviously Hero and Adebayo, correct?
Yeah.
And I think Davion Mitchell is a nice. So this This 4 right here, Khalil Ware, Bam Adebayo, Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero. All right, good players, right? Good players. It's not going to win you a playoff series, though. So I think Pat is going to make some moves. I just don't know if it's going to be like a Terry Rozier kind of move. I don't know if it's going to be a move that's going to be a needle mover for the fan base. This roster is going to have Alec Burks next year playing meaningful minutes. I think that they're actually going to have 7 to 8 NBA players that they could go deep on the bench with. Now, Jimmy Butler not being in the equation this year didn't help that at all. Like, if Butler is on that team, I think they give a team like Cleveland a scare. I think they did give a team a Cleveland 6-7 game series and look pretty good doing it. But I question Pat Riley. And I told you right when this happened. You asked right when the season ended and it was the 55-point loss. I told you I'd be willing to give Riley another chance. It's Pat Riley, man. I don't know, Colin. At this point, after listening to a lot of that press conference, I don't know. I'm starting to question everything at this point because I don't know how they make the team better unless they trade Tyler Hero and said Bam Adebayo. How do you keep those two players and continue to build this into a championship caliber roster? I guess you just continue to win games and hit on draft picks. Like, maybe they do hit big on a 13th pick. Maybe they do hit big on a 14th pick. But we know within this league, if you want to immediately improve your team, you're probably going to have to go out and get a free agent or trade for a star or hit a home run with a draft pick. So I don't know what avenue Riley's going to decide to go.
Well,
Colin.
What he did say is the Heat are open to the idea of producing an older star player. Said, quote, for us, if it's the right name and the right contract and it's the right length, I think an aging player can play, unquote. So Pat Riley is open to the idea. I mean, of course, everybody's eyes go to Kevin Durant. But an aging, finish off your career type of star player to complement maybe what they already have, that might be the most viable, predictable, honestly, most likely option that I think we will see from the Miami Heat, let's say 6 months' time. I think you are most likely going to see a team that has mostly what we are used to in terms of the roster. Spoelstra back, and then I think Kevin Durant, I'm not just going to throw that name out there, but an aging contributor that they're able to get for fairly cheap. I think that would be the most likely outcome of what they're going to do.
I just find it crazy the price tag that they put on, not price tag, but how they overvalue, in my opinion, Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. Like, what, are those two the cornerstones of winning a championship? I don't know. I kind of understand Heat fans' frustrations in the sense of not wanting to get rid of one of those players to maybe upgrade the roster. Riley
want
loves
to get rid of those.
Riley loves those two players.
In exchange for doing what? You want to trade two to get one?
The Lillard stuff didn't work out for the Bucks. I understand that. But at the same time, I'll listen to a Heat fan complain about not wanting to get Lillard and trade Hero at the time. I'll listen to a Heat fan who at the time when
Lillard didn't work out. Lillard couldn't stay
healthy. That's what I said. But I said that. But at the time, like I like if he comes to Miami, maybe things are different. If Durant goes to Miami instead of the Suns, maybe things are different. Like with the hashtag Heat culture as well. I don't know. I find it crazy that he values Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo the way he does. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't think they're world beaters. I'm going to be completely honest.
Well, it's very clear that they need something else. That's very clear. But the idea that they should just get rid of them just because they're not world beaters is.
I'm not
in
saying
exchange for what?
I'm not like in off seasons past and in seasons past, Heat fans have been upset that they haven't decided to get rid of a player like Hero for a Lillard or a Durant. I'll listen to that. I will listen.
Yeah, but Hero wasn't enough. Hero was not going to. I mean, Hero was probably not going to be. It was going to be him and a myriad of other pieces to go get Lillard. They had to give up Drew Holiday in a lot of ways, and Drew Holiday is a better player than Hero ever will be. Drew Holiday is a Hall of Famer, and that was what the Bucks had to give up in order to get him. I understand that. Durant, you would have had to give up both Adebayo and Hero to go get Durant because they traded Bridges and Cam Johnson about 100 picks, and that's what it took to get Durant, and that's when they wanted to get rid of him, and that's not interconference too. But I understand. I get that. My perspective is that the Heat made two things clear. Number one is that they're not going to tear this thing down and start from scratch. That's just not how they do things. They don't believe in it. It's not going to happen. But I think they're going to acknowledge what went wrong and try to work off of that. And Do you have to trust it? You have no choice. You have no choice if you're a Heat fan. Unfortunately.
We didn't think they were going to blow it up anyway. For all the Heat fans who thought you were blowing it up, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. It just doesn't happen.
Well, you thought they were going to blow it up.
I said they should blow it up. To be fair, I said they should, but they won't.
They don't
That's
believe
not
in
what Pat Riley does.
They don't believe in it.
Do I think they should get rid of Hero and Bam and get draft picks and tank to get players? Absolutely. But it's not going to happen.
I don't think they should do that personally. Adebayo's 27, Hero's 25.
Soft reset.
What is a soft reset?
You know,
tell me what you do.
When you push the Xbox button and no. Realistically, it's knowing that you don't have the talent and the players to win.
What's a soft reset? Other than a hard reset, what's a soft?
Get rid of some picks. Get rid of a player like Hero or Adebayo. Get some picks. Win 20 games and get some.
That's a hard reset. 20 games is not a soft reset. That's a hard reset.
I think Heat fans would embrace it.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. So let's talk
Things
about things that are going to happen.
Things that are going to happen is that Hero and Adebayo, in my opinion, are going to be on the roster when they're overvalued, and you're going to have.
Well, they're going to be on the roster, but they're also said one thing that Riley said. Let's take it what he said. He said we're not going to run it back. It's not going to be the same team.
All right,
we're going to make changes.
Instead of Terry Rozier, you'll have Grayson Allen. Like I think that's the caliber. You're not going to get a star. If you're keeping those two, you're not trading for a Giannis. You're not trading for a Kevin Durant. And to your point, maybe they shouldn't. Fine. But what I'm saying is, with what's on the roster and the little tinkering that they're going to be doing on the fly, it's not going to be enough to win a playoff series.
Well, what has been working throughout the NBA right now? Has it been the star player piece one and piece two and the island of misfit toys? Or has it been well-constructed rosters of a bunch of good players and a lack thereof of great players?
A lot of those, and granted, Cleveland's down. Oklahoma City looks, I know they won by 40, but they did lose game one. A lot of the teams that are relevant right now did do the hard reset and were able to get trade young players away for current stars and figure it out while having draft picks as well.
I mean, the Knicks never did, the Pacers never did, the Warriors never did. The OKC Thunder did. That's they were terrible for a year or two. But it was that Paul George trade that propelled everything. They were in the playoffs 5 years ago with a completely different team.
Pacers were savvy with that Halliburton trade. It was Sabonis for Halliburton,
right? And
wow, was that a home run for them?
Right. So
you got to get lucky.
That's what the Heat want.
You got to get lucky.
So the Heat are not.
You got to find your Tyrese Halliburton.
You're so sold on the blow it up and restart, it's just the league. It's not consistent. It's not. That's the NFL. That is not the NBA. That's not the NBA. There's not enough champions that completely blow it up and it works. There are so many misfires. The Heat actually have an opportunity because they got a 25-year-old and a 27-year-old. Listen, are they the best players on the floor? No. But can they be complements to a very good team? Probably. Yes. No doubt. And this is the team who sold their best player 3 months ago. We're already going to call fire? Let's get rid of everything?
I think the Heat are long overdue for it, though.
Well,
I think they're long overdue for it.
Teams don't do that. The Celtics tried to tank for 4 years throughout the 90s and the early 2000s, and they never got a top pick, and it burned them. It doesn't help certain teams. But Charlotte's been trying to tank for 30 years. The Wizards been terrible. Doesn't work. You gotta get. There's a luck factor, and then there's also the right player falling into your lap factor. And if you don't have to, if you want to avoid that position, I can't fault you for that. I really don't. Would I be okay with getting rid of one of the two? Absolutely. No problem. You don't get rid of both.
There's evidence on both sides of my scenario working and your scenario working. We could agree on that.
The reason Cleveland worked out is because they got Mitchell. That's why. And they got a new coach. I mean, yeah, they got Mobley sitting there, and they got Garland was a good pick. That works because
you traded Sexton, a draft pick, and it was Larry Markkinen
to a team that is rebuilding now. So Utah is fully embracing that rebuild, and that remains to be seen whether they can do that. That's a team that embraced the rebuild. So let's see if that works.
Minnesota got Ant.
Right, and they get the number one overall pick. They had 2 number one overall picks in 2015 and 2020, and it finally worked 8 years later.
Oklahoma City, obviously, they traded for Shea, but they had the assets to do it because
this is the same team that was in the Western Conference Finals 7 years ago. This is not they got lucky because they had assets to trade.
It was like 3-4 years so where they were a pretty, lousy
it was like 2
team.
years. It was like 2 years, and then they started getting pretty solid. But I understand. My point is that's not the. We talk about this all the time. There is not an A and B. The NFL, you could reset that way, and you could get better that way. I don't think that's the case with the NBA because of the lottery. The lottery fights back to that sense. I don't think that blowing it up, it's not a guarantee. You have the two players there. Try to maneuver and get savvy with it. Damian Perez, our producer, is a Heat fan. Damian Perez, are you in favor of them blowing it up? Or do you believe, that's probably not going to happen. We know it's not going to happen. But after Pat Riley's postseason presser, where he said we're not running it back with the same team, what is your perspective on the future of the Heat?
Yeah, I think in the NBA it's harder to blow it up because you also run the risk of the lottery. You can be the worst team in the NBA and still not end up with that number one pick. So you run the risk there. And in the NFL, I feel like draft picks kind of have a more immediate impact than what they do in the NBA. It's harder to hit on a draft pick in the NBA.
Yeah, rookie contracts are everything in the NFL.
But if you're asking me, the Miami Heat, what they need to do, I think it's clear to admit that we're kind of in a limbo right now. We don't have that alpha player. We actually just got rid of the alpha player. We have great compliments like Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. I think Bam Adebayo hasn't taken that next jump. It kind of worries me in a sense. I think he's been the same player for the past 2-3 years.
Right.
So I think in a sense there should be some pressure on players like Bam. He needs to take that next jump. But honestly, and this is kind of crazy, I'm honestly waiting for Pat Riley to step aside and for Eric Spoelstra to take that role of team president and kind of build from there. We've seen teams that have done it.
He's 80 years old. Yeah,
we've seen teams that have done it. Most recently, the Boston Celtics, and they've had success. So I don't know if it's in the near future. I don't know if it's in the plans, but I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, see if he pulls a Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge moves away, and all of a sudden,
he's got a great reputation amongst not just his other coaches, other owners, but amongst players too.
So D, you're fine with hanging on to Hero and Adebayo, adding a couple role players and running it back?
They said an aging star is in the. Let's not forget that they acknowledge the fact that is possible.
Last year, I would have said yes. Let's run it
they
back
don't
with
do
Bam
it, though.
and Hero. But
no, he said we might. They literally asked him, "Will you get an aging star?" And he said they won't do it. Well, they haven't done it because they had Butler. Now all of a sudden they can because they don't have to pay 3 players.
I honestly wouldn't cry a river if we traded one of the two and picked up a player.
I think that is possible. I do think that is possible. But he also talked about, Pat Riley was also asked about the prospect of Tyler Hero getting an extension, and he said he's willing of the conversation. He's willing of the thought. So that's going to be a whole another charade that the Heat are eventually going to have to sit through when that comes about.
I don't know what to believe because Colin's right in what he's saying, but at the same time, Riley's talking about how much he loves the two of Adebayo and Hero as well. Let's just see how this thing plays out. From what I heard from Pat, I don't think it's going to be getting a Durant or getting a player maybe like some Heat fans want. And I think they're going to retool with what they think is going to help them be a deeper team and maybe try to, make a run that way. And maybe I am completely wrong on this. Maybe Colin, maybe my fandom is in the way.
Depth has won in the postseason. Depth wins in the postseason.
And maybe the whole blowing it up thing, maybe I am a little biased on that with how well it worked for a couple of teams. It's not everybody's sauce. It's not. But I think with the Heat, who they didn't get lucky. Get lucky is the wrong word. They were able to maneuver around Wade, LeBron, and Bosh even. Fair play to him on that. They were able to get a great guy like Jimmy Butler to come in and go to a couple of championships. The reason I say they were long overdue for a reset, sometimes it's just you really are left with no choice. I thought losing by 55 points could have been a quote-unquote wake-up call to Pat Riley of, oh, man, maybe we should just start from scratch. That's more or less what I was thinking.
In a way, he's got an excuse, though. They just got rid of Jimmy Butler. I feel like the team never...
And they lost by 55, like in an embarrassment fashion.
That team should have never been in the playoffs, honestly speaking. But if we really analyze it, if Bam Adebayo were to become available in the market, I feel like teams would prioritize getting Bam Adebayo, especially a team like the Lakers, or just his position, what he brings to the court, to the team, his defensive prowess. I think he would be a desirable piece for other teams who are looking to compete and possibly win a championship.
Right, but who are you gonna get for Adebayo? The Lakers are not going to give you anything. Nothing of value. Well, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves,
and Milwaukee will never trade
Tyler
Giannis
Hero in a different font. Yeah, and you're not going to get. Yeah, you're going to need to give up. Giannis is going to demand if he is ever on the market. I said it earlier. Watch the Celtics be in Mark.
But Milwaukee will never trade. I feel like they'll never trade Giannis to, for example, the Heat or Boston. That's a direct rival in the Eastern Conference.
Maybe you're right. I think, but it's about teams with depth that can afford it. OKC can afford it. The Pacers can afford it. The Celtics can afford it. I think those are the teams that are more uniquely equipped to take on his services. If it's really the Brooklyn Nets at the end of the day, have at it. But, I mean, to your point, I agree. I think they're going to be reluctant. If they can avoid it at all costs, they are not going to want to see Giannis 3-4 times a year, especially in their postseason.
Yeah. We have the Matt Man in the chat, on the YouTube chat. He says, Khalil Ward and Tyler Hero and picks. What do you get? Is that enough for maybe that veteran star, Colin, that you were alluding to?
Do they say yes with Durant for that? I think they consider it.
I tend to think they would consider, depending on what the draft pick is. If it's a first-round pick, unprotected, I think they consider it.
That would, yeah.
They got
Beal and Booker sitting there. How does Hero fit into that?
Listen, that owner thinks he's got a championship roster still. So if anything, they're reloading, Kyle.
We're reloading with Tyler Hero, Bradley Beal, and Devin
No,
Booker.
what I'm saying is they're probably not trading Durant if I'm taking that guy for his word.
Right.
He's going to find out how to dip into the luxury tax when they outlawed it, and they're going to add another player.
Ware, who was their best rookie.
Trolling, by the way.
And then Hero, who was awful in the postseason, but is a good scorer when need be in a low-pressure environment.
Oh, he was terrible against
What can you get for him? Not a ton, to be honest with you.
He was terrible.
In terms of who's available, you'd have to see who opens up on the market. Can you go get somebody like a Sabonis or something like that? Are they willing to get rid of it? Like, that would be the people you'd have to keep an eye on.
The game Hero said that they weren't going to lay over and die that game 4. He went 1 for 10 in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, he was awful. Lost by 55 points. We'll do a little 5 at 5 on the flip side as we enter into the second hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com. pbhnphysiciangroup.com to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
Start the summer at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium for a fun and jam-packed Memorial Day weekend. Friday, May 23rd is a Dog Day Friday at 6:30 p.m. Saturday, May 24th is Hometown Heroes Night, presented by Gordon and Partners with post-game fireworks as we honor all military members, first responders, and local heroes. Sunday, May 25th, all fans can enjoy discounted $10 tickets. Stop by the ticket office to purchase your tickets or go to RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Mansour's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Mansour's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll, safety's the goal.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Did you miss Theoretically Speaking?
Florida State 2 years ago with Jordan Travis. It's closer to a national championship than Miami.
I guess they have a point for being unhappy of even though they won every single game their season. Maybe they've got a point.
If you're a guy that spent your whole summer training, two-a-days, and the opportunity to be able to at least compete for a championship gets taken away because just one guy got injured, that's looking at that left tackle or that running back or that wide receiver and spitting in their face.
It's Theoretically Speaking, weekdays at 2, here on ESPN 106.3.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Collins!
Well, now that the summer season is here, and more importantly, people are going to be looking to improve or change out their AC units, one thing you got to be made sure of is that the last of the pre-tariff materials, they're arriving, and almost all AC systems have components that are made overseas, shipped to the United States. You got to make sure that prices are not going to continue to rise on that front. That's why you got to go to John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing, who have locally been serving Palm Beach County since 1960. You can go to CassidyAC.com today to get started. Cassidy has been keeping homes cool and comfortable, especially as it starts to get into sticky season, mid-80s, high 80s. It's 76 degrees when you wake up at 5 in the morning, and nice and sticky and humid, and this is the season in Florida. So make sure that you're not going to get stuck with a faulty AC unit. You can get their highly trained technicians to come out to your home. They could troubleshoot, perform diagnostic checks on your system. It doesn't even matter what brand or age it is. That's what John C. Cassidy has to offer. They're also part of our community. They support the YMCA, the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. They do it all. They're the locally serviced and locally provided AC and HVAC units. Servicemen, go get started today, CassidyAC.com. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Let's bounce around a little bit. Let's have a little fun with the 5 and 5 presented by Flago Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Let's start on the gridiron. We'll get to the good basketball that is happening this weekend. It's rookie minicamp. Colin, the second activity on the 2025 NFL schedule. Obviously, the NFL draft kicking things off with the new season. Now it is rookie minicamp. Colin, which rookie are you most excited to watch this coming NFL season?
Outside of my team, the Jags, I mean, of course,
you could say Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter flies in there. But somebody who I'm curious to see if they'll have immediate impact is Matthew Golden of the Green Bay Packers. How are they going to utilize him? Top-end speed. Is he going to replace a Romeo Doubs? Is he going to replace a Christian Watson? Where is he going to fit amongst the core of receivers up in Green Bay? I'm curious on see if he'll have an immediate impact. That's my number one curious one to keep an eye on.
So I'm going to keep it local here in South Florida and go with a Miami Dolphin who's going to be a rookie. Quinn Ewers. I know Zach Wilson's on the roster, and I'm hoping Tua Tagovailoa has a very, very healthy season. But boys, I think we can agree on one thing. Tua is not going to play all 17 games. I think this opens the door for a guy like Quinn Ewers. I think at this point, Zach Wilson will probably get a go at some point. If I had to put a number on how many games Tua plays, I'm going to say under 12. With that said, I think you're going to see Quinn Ewers at one point. Ewers going into, I believe...
Wilson will be the backup.
I agree, but I think he's going to play himself out of the position because we know what Wilson is. Now, to Mike Tannenbaum's point, who we had on the show a couple of weeks back, he said, Riz, bump the brakes a bit. Look what Sam Darnold did with another opportunity. Look what a guy like Baker Mayfield was able to do on his fourth some team. I understand all of that. I'm willing to bet that Zach Wilson, if he gets a chance, he's probably going to fumble it. I think Quinn Ewers is going to play for the Dolphins at some point this year, and I think he might surprise a couple of people. I'm looking forward to possibly Quinn Ewers getting some downs with the Dolphins this year.
Number 2.
Keeping it on the football field, Kyle. We're going to go to the college side, though. Did you see this bizarre story of Bill Belichick's girlfriend apparently being unable to be a part of, let's call it for what it is, the UNC football program? There was a rumor floated out there today that she was banned from all football facilities. North Carolina later came out and said, and I quote, the University of North Carolina issued a statement Friday saying Bill Belichick's girlfriend is a welcomed guest, at football facilities after reports claimed she had been banned by the school. My question to you, Colin Russo, is this girlfriend going to be the demise of Bill Belichick at his new job, North Carolina?
So UNC said that she's allowed back.
Correct.
She's allowed in.
The story, according to David Hale of ESPN.com, is that the University of North Carolina issued a statement Friday saying Bill Belichick's girlfriend is a welcome guest at football facilities, and reports claimed she had been banned by the school. The reason I ask you that question, Colin, doesn't it seem like it's going that direction, mate? What is going on here? Pablo Torre, listen, I'm not one for names on reports that aren't true, but listen, man, Pablo Torre is a real credible guy. For him to put his name on something like this and have it not be true is very surprising. The interview that they did when she had an issue of the CBS reporter asking her where she met Bill Belichick is very odd. That's why I ask you, could this girlfriend possibly be the demise of Bill Belichick at North Carolina?
And I saw that she was buying her a bunch of real estate in the New York area, $8 million worth or something like that. Very strange. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, who are we to tell Bill Belichick what he can and cannot do? I have a hard time believing a 24-year-old has this chokehold on him that he cannot operate and he's stuck in this relationship. I don't think that's the case. But
I hope not.
She's bad news. That's the bottom line. She's bad news. Where she goes, chaos follows. And because of that, even if it wasn't true or if it was true and then UNC changed it because of the optics, UNC was right to keep her out of the building. Maybe they did that internally. Maybe Bill Belichick made that decision to keep football as football and keep personal life as personal life. It's going to be very curious to see how he operates if he is a normal Bill Belichick day-to-day. North Carolina's still picking up recruits. They still seem to be doing a halfway decent job with the offseason stuff. I wonder how much of a role she is going to play in day-to-day UNC life. If she's going to be around, if she's not, maybe she won't be. But it is a concerning relationship. Will she be the demise? No, I don't think so. Because I think Bill Belichick, if they start winning football games, everybody's going to forget about her really quickly.
I am upset that this is the storyline for Bill Belichick going into the college football season. I still am, but I was so excited when I found out Bill was going to college and a program like North Carolina. Not necessarily a storied football program, but a program that has seen relatively recent success. They have a good number of good pros who have been there, a la Julius Peppers and company. Didn't Lawrence Taylor go there? Am I wrong on that? They have a good alumni base. So, like, I was excited to see cool jerseys, the whole 9 yards. Was very excited to see Bill Belichick step into the college realm and bring North Carolina football into relevance. It's unfortunate that this is the storyline surrounding him right now. And to answer my own question, I agree with Colin. I don't think so. I want to think that Bill has a good grip on this situation with the 24-year-old Jordan Hudson. But when I hear things like this, by the way, on Friday, this is according to David Hale again of ESPN.com, on Friday, podcast host Pablo Torre revealed interviews with numerous sources close to the Belichick family that detailed the controversial relationship between the 73-year-old UNC coach and Hudson, including claims she had been banned from university facilities. That's why I worry. It sounds like the family doesn't like her. I'm a huge, and I know not everybody is the same situation as my situation. I'm a huge family guy. My family is everything to me. If my family don't like somebody, I'm probably not going to like somebody, guys. Got to be completely honest. So, this worries me. This worries me that his family, from all intents and purposes, from reports, and maybe these reports are phony, but I don't know. I'm a little worried.
Number 3.
All right, let's get to that basketball court. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight facing off against the Indiana Pacers. Let's take my bias out of it. Right now, the Pacers are in direct control of this series. They're up 2-0. It's back on their home court. For some reason, though, Cleveland is favored by 5.5 points, according to our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. Colin, are you buying a 5.5-point spread for a team that's down 0-2 and has not picked up a win in the series on their home court this so far?
I wouldn't touch the game, but you want to talk about what's important to a team versus what is not. Denver against the OKC Thunder. Game 2 was not an important game. They've gotten blown out by the Clippers. It didn't matter. They have important games and non-important games. I'm not going to say this is a non-important game for the Indiana Pacers, but it's a much more important game for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They can't fall it on 3-0. They fall it on 3-0, they're dead. Forget it. They're not coming back in that series. Whereas as the Pacers, if they win 1 out of 2 and go up 3-1, they still like where they're at. So I would say that because of that, and because it's very obvious and apparent that one team is going to be almost fighting for their lives and the other team maybe won't be, is probably why you get that line. But the one thing about Indiana is you got to play 48 straight minutes against them consistently. They are waves of pressure, and they don't go away. They don't die. So because of that, I wouldn't touch that line with a pole.
All week, Cleveland had to hear how soft they are, specifically the guys who sat out. Take the Cavs tonight. They're going to win, and it's going to be 2-1.
Number 4.
Moving on to the Thunder and the Nuggets, Cal. Is this going to be the lopsided affair that we saw in Oklahoma City in Game 2? Let's rewind back to Game 1 as well. The Nuggets stole it. The Nuggets outplayed the Thunder, all intents and purposes, in that second half, and were able to win Game 1. But the Thunder absolutely blew the doors off of the Nuggets. The Joker fouled out in the third quarter, and eerily enough, Oklahoma City favored by 5.5, the same exact line as that Cleveland and Indiana game. Colin, who do you like tonight? Thunder or the Nuggets in Denver? Switches back to Denver, by the way, folks.
I anticipate that this series will be 2-2, going back to Oklahoma City. If I had to lean aside tonight, I would probably say Denver. Weirdly enough. OKC wants to blow them out by 40 and keep shooting and keep playing their starters well into the fourth quarter when they don't need to. Fine. Have at it. I think that game was not necessarily attainable for Denver quite early on, probably in the second quarter. Therefore, Denver has their moments where they don't care about a game. All right, we'll reload and we'll come back at them next time. I think Denver's going to be competitive tonight. I think the game tonight will be competitive. I think it will be 2-2. I'm more confident in that than I am Denver winning Game 3. I think the series will be 2-2. I think they will split the next 2 games.
I hope you're right, Colin, because just like you, I want, if my team's not playing and doesn't have a rooting interest, I want all these to go 7 and be great games. I don't think Oklahoma City looks back after this. I think it's going to be tough for Denver to win another game in this series. I got to be completely honest. So I hope I'm proved wrong, but I do like Oklahoma City to cover. I like all the favorites tonight. I like Oklahoma City to cover and not really keep this one close, and that it's going to be a very interesting Game 4 for Denver coming up in that second game that they have at home.
Number 5.
All right, boys. National Sleepover Day is today. What was your favorite activity to do growing up when you and the boys would have a slumber party? Start with Colin.
Outdoors. like a manhunt of some sort where you're running around in backyards.
Cops and robbers.
That was the where that was where it's the best. At night, that was where it's at its best.
Dame?
That's a good one, Colin. But I gotta go with video games. Just playing and more like sports video games like FIFA. 2K as well.
Dame, get the double screen going, do some tournaments.
Yeah.
One buddy brings over their Xbox, you got yours. You got 2 games going on at once, action everywhere, stress levels and testosterone flying through the room.
Competitiveness.
Oh, dude.
All of it.
So, Dame, FIFA and 2K, those
are the two.
Wrestling matches were had after FIFA and 2. Fights broke out after FIFA and 2K games with the boys. But another game, though, was Modern Warfare 2. Dame, you're my age. Wow, that game was something special. Dude, when Modern Warfare 2 was like, when it came out my freshman year of high school, all of us took off. We stayed up for the midnight release. We were at our local GameStop. And I'll never forget, the parents let us we didn't have basketball practice the next day for some reason or whatever. But wow, that game was something special.
That was our 5 at 5, presented by Flagler Credit Union. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez. Panthers, Game 3 tonight against the Maple Leafs. Talk about a must-win environment back in Sunrise, Florida at Amerant Bank Stadium. We get into that game next. What do the Panthers have to do to get back into this series a little bit, down 2-0 to the Toronto Maple Leafs? We'll get into Draymond Green's comments post-game after Game 2. A lot to do, a lot to hang around. We'll blitz the book a little later on as well. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3. As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Big news, West Palm Beach! Greenway Kia is rolling out the red carpet for our grand reopening, and you're invited! Right now, drive home in a new 2024 Kia Telluride, luxury, performance, and value, starting at just $38,998. No tariffs, just huge savings! Get incentives up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias. Got a trade-in? We need it! Any make, any model, any condition! We'll give you up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book value towards the purchase of any red tag Kia in stock. Worried about credit? Don't be! If you got a job bringing home $350 a week, we want to improve your credit today. So what are you waiting for? Come celebrate our grand reopening at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or visit GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approval through KFA, stock number SG005991, MSRP $45,235, plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Negative equity refinance. Offers don't combine.
This Mother's Day, give Mom a gift with endless possibilities. Give her a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach. The Breakers gift card lets you treat Mom to all the things she loves, like irresistible oceanfront getaways, lessons at the Breakers' new golf and racket club, pampering at the exquisite spa, and shopping at the resort's stylish collection of boutiques. Gift cards may also be used for dining at the Breakers' renowned restaurants and bars, including Echo, Henry's Palm Beach, HMF, and Flagler Steakhouse. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a $500 gift card online at thebreakers.com, you'll receive an additional $50 on that card, compliments of the Breakers. You can never repay Mom for all she's done, but a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach is a great way to start. Visit thebreakers.com today.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
We got Game 3 tonight between the Panthers and the Maple Leafs, and you got a bunch of NBA action to be had as the second round is completely underway in both the Stanley Cup and the NBA. You get the MLB in the thick of the regular season. You got a lot to look forward to and a lot to bet on over on the Hard Rock Bet app. Go download it today at the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started today. Hard Rock's the best because it caters to both types of players, and it's also acclimated for you to tag along and how other users put together their bets. So you can check out the Discover page, and then all of a sudden, if you like this random user's 5-leg parlay with a smattering of games and you don't necessarily know what to put on your own bet, just tag along on theirs. Tag along. It's 2 taps away. That's how easy it is over on the Hard Rock Bet app. You can bet overs, unders, parlays. You can put it all together, but as little as $1 up to 20 legs, increase your odds. Best part is about Hard Rock Bet is you get $100 back in bonus bets if and when your first bet does not hit. So that first bet could be a parlay, prop, the over, you name it. That's Hard Rock Bet for you. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888. Admit it. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063. We'd said it. Game 3 of the Florida Panthers Toronto Maple Leafs is tonight. It's in Florida. They dropped the first 2 in Toronto. They've been able to score, but they haven't been able to stop them. 5-4 in Game 1, and then 4-3 in Game 2. You're on the favor of the side that Florida will come back tonight?
Yeah, I think the home team will bounce back in a big way. I think they're going to feed off of that crowd. I got to talk to Jonathan Zaslow yesterday when I filled in for Theo on Theoretically Speaking right here on ESPN 1063. He seemed confident. And I know Zaz is a big homer like me with my teams, but he started spewing out some knowledge, Kyle. I'm going with them. I'm going to go with the Panthers tonight. I think they win the next 2. I'll take it that far. I think the Panthers will probably win the next 2 at home. Now, I know you've been high on the Maple Leafs, and listen, maybe you're onto something there. I'm not saying the Maple Leafs are going to blow the series, but I do think that this thing's going to be 2-2 heading back to Toronto, and Toronto's going to be in a big spot. And they haven't necessarily played well in big spots historically. Now, we talked earlier, the Toronto teams of the past would have lost that, Game 6 to the Oilers, right?
Ottawa Senators.
Sorry. Yeah. So maybe this is the Maple Leafs, no pun intended, turning over a new leaf. But I tend to believe that the Panthers, these were close games too, right? These were great games. These were games that were separated by 1 goal in games 1 and 2. So I'm going to count on the home team and the home ice tonight. I've been in that arena before, as have you. That place can get very, very loud. I'll take the home team tonight.
I lean on the side that Florida's at least going to win a game in their building. They're too good to, roll over and die. Part of me thinks that the winner of this series is probably going to come out of the Eastern Conference to represent the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Final. I think a big key to this game is you got to be able to, timely scoring is a big deal. Toronto has been able to match scoring outbreaks in both of the games. When Florida finally got a little life in Game 2, all of a sudden, Toronto was able to respond 20 seconds later and score. They did that in Game 1 as well. I think also capitalizing on power plays and not committing penalties are the big deal. 5 penalties in both games for Florida. That would be my takeaway. Tripping, all that stuff. Leave that stuff at home.
Don't play yourself out of the game.
Don't give them advantages because they're playing very well. You're able to score. Now it's a time to get them to not score. This is more about defense than it is going to be offense. Play tough. They're not going to have Stolarz, who is their top goalie. I think that Florida is in a good spot in order to at least get to 2-1 and then maybe 2-2. But I still lean on the side that the Stanley Cup is a lot about momentum and is a lot about utilizing timing and everything like that. And Toronto's done a very good job at that. So you got to give them credit there. And they were able to blitz Ottawa a little bit and at the start of that series, and they blitzed Florida to start this series. I think Toronto is dangerous, and everybody wants to write them off because the old Maple Leafs can't get it done. Well, it's a different coach. It's a different team. That's what I would say. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind. And we know how good Florida is. It's very hard to repeat. I know they've been there, but it's very hard to repeat, to find that fire twice in a row. I think this might be Toronto's year. I really do.
This is a team that was almost 30 games over 500 in Toronto. Like, I understand the regular season and what do they call it, the President's Cup. That doesn't mean anything once playoffs come around. But Austin Matthews, great player. The Marner guy has 102 points on the year. Like, this is a good team. This is a really good team. And to your point, new coach, maybe new theme, magic, and mojo. Kyle, you love it. You love this. Call it for what it is. Hang on. You love this team.
Well, it's timely scoring. I think timely scoring is a very underrated trait in hockey. It's not how much you score. It's honestly when you score. It's utilizing momentum in that sense and harnessing it. I think Toronto's very good at that. They know how to kill a run. They know how to kill momentum. They know how to operate shorthanded. Because of that, I would give Toronto the chance, or at least the favoritism, to win the series. And I would say that I think this will go 6 or 7. I do. We'd be stupid to think Florida was going to roll over and die. But if you're a Florida fan and you're sitting there confident because you're dealing with the old Maple Leafs, I think you should reconsider. And this is not, I'm an Islanders guy. But
how'd they do?
Number 1 overall pick. But the Toronto, and they didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve it, but they're going to get it too. Okay. So that's good for them. They're going to get the kid Higgins, who grew up an Islanders fan. But
nice.
The Toronto Maple Leafs, part of me thinks they're due. It's a historic franchise. 3rd all time in Stanley Cups or whatever they are. Watch them do it. I think I would take Florida to win tonight, but I think Toronto's going to steal one. I do. I think Toronto's going to steal one.
So 3-1 heading back to Toronto.
Florida was great in Tampa in the first round. And they weren't ultra great in Toronto. I think that's going to be a big deal there. And I've been to Amerant Bank Stadium. If Florida's not scoring, that crowd's not going to be into it. That crowd is not going to be into it if there's not a lot of offense.
You calling Panther fans out?
No. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, you are.
I was there. At Game 4.
That's a shot, man.
And that was the game that Florida Panthers scored 2 goals in 12 seconds.
Are you saying
win the game?
What are you saying? It was a church, a library?
Wasn't loud. I mean, let me lie. Wasn't loud. And I when you play lifeless, don't let that carry. We'll see. I'm not saying they did. They played hard. They played pretty well, offensively at least, against the Maple Leafs in Game 1 and 2. We'll see if they can do it in Game 3. That's tonight, of course, 7 p.m., I believe, on TBS and Max. Did you see what Draymond Green said post-game after Game 2 between the T-Wolves and the Warriors? He had another flagrant foul, shocker, and then he goes out post-game, and he basically says, I hate this agenda that's being forced upon me, that I'm, and in his words, an angry black man. And he brought race into it. He said he is being painted as some angry person when he is not. I don't understand this 180. Let's make one thing clear. He is 2 technical fouls away from a suspension, and he is 2 flagrant fouls away from a suspension. But it's us that are painting the poor picture. I think this guy is the ultimate flail the arms. He's barking at the officials every single possession. He's barking at the opposing players. What are we supposed to think? What are we supposed to think? This is the dumbest thing in the world to try to draw this down. Jimmy Butler said it great. He said, Draymond's going to have to lead here. He said, we need a leader right now. We don't need somebody that's trying to alienate himself out of the process. The victimizing mindset. We don't need that right now. We need to try to win Game 3 without Steph. And we're talking about how I'm being painted in a poor light. Draymond, you lead the league in technicals and flagrants every single year. You get suspended in big spots. You got suspended from Game 5 of the 2016 NBA Finals.
Thank God he did, because he was the best player on the court in that series.
So I cannot listen to Draymond saying stuff like this.
So
this is where he drives you nuts. And you love to have him, but this is where he drives you nuts.
I think at this point in Draymond's career, I think he's sick of being the bad guy. But Draymond, my man, I'm with Colin on this. If you're sick of being the bad guy,
stop being a bad guy.
My brother, quit being the bad guy, mate.
Stop being a bad guy.
Yes, quit being the bad guy. Now, I think Draymond in his mind thinks there's a stigmatism around him, Colin. He's not going to get the benefit of the doubt if it's like hey, man, this is 50-50 to be a flagrant or a technical. Of course you're not. Your entire career, you've been the guy who has argued with referees. You've been the quote-unquote dirty player that has bucked people in the genitals before and have done some strange stuff on the court. If you're and I don't know why he brought race into it personally. I don't think it has anything to do with it. But at the same time, like, if you're tired of being put in this light, quit doing boneheaded stuff, mate. I'll be the first person to give you your flowers if you're a first-class citizen out there on the court. And I've come a long way with Draymond being a Cleveland fan, man. I actually like Draymond now. I respect him, honest to God.
He's a first-ballot Hall of Famer.
I respect the hell out of Draymond.
He's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. That's the bottom line.
Agreed. And how these playoffs have went, he probably should have won Defensive Player of the Year again. I'm willing to admit all this. But Draymond, my man, my brother in arms, I can't sit here and agree with you on here. I want to agree with you here, but there's no agenda. Let's keep race out of it. You don't help yourself on the court. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, my gosh.
He doesn't help himself out there, Kyle.
He, quote, looked like an angry black man. I'm not an angry black man. I am a very successful, educated black man with a great family, and I am great at basketball and great at what I do. Draymond, nobody is denying that you were great at what you do.
No one's denying any of that.
Nobody's denying
No one's denying any of that.
But the fact that you get technicals and flagrants every game, what are people supposed to expect? That you're the happiest guy in the league? What are we doing? Try to lead this team. There's no Steph right now. We can't be worried about our public image issues after game 2. We can't be doing that.
Like, Draymond, we know you have a great family. We know you're a great guy.
Please, Draymond?
We know you're a first ballot Hall of Famer. But at the same time, like, come on, mate. You don't need to do this.
Public image issues after game 2? Really? Now?
You don't need to do this.
You got a podcast. You control your own public image.
Right. You do. Colin, he's got a spot on TNT whenever he wants it. He's got a TV job whenever he wants it. I don't understand it. Is he trying to deflect something? Like, is he doing this on purpose? Like, is he making a statement for the team? I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't elaborate on it. I just don't like how you handle that. After game 2, nobody expected the Warriors to win. They didn't win. They couldn't really get anything going offensively. And the Wolves, they had a couple chances. It was almost like a game flipped. It was almost like game 1, but flipped. And, all right, Wolves tied it up at 1-1 going back to Golden State. You're not going to have Steph for at least another couple of games. And we're sitting there whining about our public image after we get another technical? Draymond, if you get suspended in these playoffs,
it's over, man.
You're going to be in a lot of trouble. That team is going to be in a lot of trouble if you get suspended with either 2 more technical fouls or 2 more flagrant fouls. If you do one or the other, you get suspended a game in the postseason. It's happened to him before. And it's very close to happening again.
Especially with Curry and the hamstring. You need to be a model citizen out there on the court.
And Jimmy Butler he's 36 years old. He's not going to have 54 and 8 to lead them to a game 3 victory. He's going to need you as well. And Draymond is as important as Curry on that team. He is. Because he does everything defensively. Mm-hmm. So I was a little taken aback at his decision to go in that direction with his post-game comments. Draymond, please. Jeez. We need you to play some defense. Public image issues. Let's worry about that in 3 weeks. Yeah?
We know you're a great guy.
Let's worry about that in 3 weeks, please.
We know you're a great guy. Embrace being Bill Laimbeer. You're Bill Laimbeer.
Bill Laimbeer was not a great guy. Hold on. Bill, I don't know if that's the right example there. Laimbeer was not a good person.
But you get like the enforcer. Like when I say Bill Laimbeer, like the enforcer. You're the enforcer, mate. You could be the enforcer and not get technicals and put your team in a bad spot.
Laimbeer was hurting people, but I understand.
That was the game back. Everyone was hurting people.
Yeah, but Laimbeer was a bad, people hated Laimbeer. Everybody hated
people. Hated the Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale.
They weren't bad people. Lambeer was a dangerous individual to be on the court with.
You gotta stop.
He was a dangerous individual.
You gotta stop.
He was a threat.
Dangerous individual.
Why? He was a threat.
Come on,
He was a threat. He was such a punk. Oh, my God. Neither here nor there.
Dangerous individual got me. I can't lie.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Damian Perez. We got to make a couple picks. We'll put together a parlay, send you off into the weekend. We'll blitz the book. On the flip side of things, it's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Football legends collide at the opening match of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. Messi, Jordi Alba, and Inter Miami take on Jamal Mashour and Mohamed El Shenawi of the Egyptian powerhouse Al Ahly. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
Introducing DQ Grill and Chill's new sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strips. A basket of 100% all white meat seasoned chicken strips now being served with blue cheese or ranch dressing dips. The blizzard of the month is s'mores and mixing bowl mashup. Fresh cookie dough bites and brownie batter for a unique sweet treat. Don't forget a DQ Grill and Chill cake this season. Stop in and pick one up or get a custom order. DQ Grill and Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lakeworth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Friday, May 9th, 2025. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez. If you missed any of the program today, you want to listen back, go listen to Russo and Rizzo on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. You also watch us live. Watch back live if you want on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Damian Perez, our producer behind the glass. From the City Place Studios, it's a wonderful Friday evening. Mike and I were at a golf course today. We were over at Bear Lakes Country Club with the BDB, the Business Development Board,
Had a
of
blast.
the Palm Beaches.
Had a blast.
And our job was to heckle people at hole 1.
And I was DJ. I had music, the whole 9 yards. Dame, I get blasted, bamboozled for having YouTube Premium. You want to know what came in clutch today?
What was that?
My YouTube Premium subscription, baby. Dude, it is literally like, save your, doing what we're doing. DJing, got a speaker, hold on. What song do you want to hear? You don't have it. Oh, brother, I have it. I have this thing called YouTube Premium. I have it. Kyle calls me a sucker. I was a winner today.
By definition.
I was a winner today, baby.
By definition.
What would we do without that premium?
You sit through a 10-second ad.
No, you sit through a 30-second ad.
No.
Where's my song?
They let you skip
I'm hearing
those.
Chuck GPT, Riz. Where's my song? No one got that one, by the way?
No. It was nice. I'm not going to lie. It was nice.
Okay. Well, I just wanted
Was it worth whatever you pay monthly? No.
Now, we did mistaken the BDB girls for the beverage cart ladies. I felt really bad about that one. But it was a fun time, man. It was a real fun time out there on the golf course today. Dame, I'm a true Floridian, according to a couple around the office, because one arm got tanned today and the other arm didn't.
Oh, you had the Florida sun experience.
Correct, because I was sitting, my left arm was in the sun when I was tinkering with the laptop with my YouTube Premium subscription, and the other one was in the shade.
Yeah,
So,
you got to keep that in mind here in Florida.
well, now I look like an idiot. So
We brought a football that was we were on hole 1, tossing the pigskin around. It was weird because our job was to literally just give guys a hard time. And the good news is none of those guys were great golfers. No offense.
Made it easy for you.
It was easy for us, number one. Number two, they didn't take themselves too seriously. There was not a lot of golfers that were upset with their play on the course.
It was all in good spirits.
Which was all in good spirits, which makes the world of a difference if we're trying to be at a golf event, trying to, get underneath somebody's skin playfully.
Especially because golf is always, I feel like, so tense.
Oh, so tense. Loosen up.
We won't name names, but man, we had an IT group. I think they should have stayed at. The office.
We're not going to name names, but you just said exactly.
Listen, I didn't. Did I say anyone's first or last name?
There's not as many. All right, fair enough.
Dame, there is an IT group. Someone could have got seriously injured if those guys continued to play golf.
They were coming up to hole 1. We were on hole 1, so people coming from 18. It was a shotgun start. And you drive by the putting green, the practice putting green. And there was a guy who was coming up to hole 1, and he was collecting the neon green practice balls from the putting green. And he yelled to us, we're maybe 85 yards away. He goes, is anybody using these? Can I have these? And we had the mic on. We just said, dude, do what makes you happy.
He was leaving there with something, huh?
Dude, he comes right up to us, and then he hits one, and he hits a grounder about 11 yards in front of him into the weeds, and he doesn't even go get it.
Colin said something hysterical. Forgive me, I don't remember what he said. He said some smart Alec comment. How about that?
Yeah, I said we're not the police. Just make yourself happy. That's all I care about. I said I'm happy if you're happy.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Knock yourself out. I think something along the line.
Yeah.
But so
very bizarre.
IT group could have seriously hurt someone. We mistakenly called the BDB girls the beverage ladies because we were trying to get our coworker John O'Terry a cold one. And then what else, Kyle? The pigskin. Am I missing anything here? Me getting one arm tan, not the other arm.
No, we had a good time.
Anything happen when I left? I had to leave. I had a partner interview.
We had a lot of cool guys come through. A lot of good sports fans. So there was a guy with a Villanova hat, and I congratulated him on the Pope, and he was very appreciative of that. He's like, "You're the first guy that ever congratulated me for the Pope all day." And I was like, "Villanova, this is a big win for the university getting the Pope."
Dude, McAfee was talking Pope today.
Really?
Yeah.
Damien, did you hear about the Pope?
I did.
American Pope?
First time ever, huh?
American Pope.
And also, Mark Burley fan. Big Chicago White Sox guy.
Yeah. He was at the 2005 World Series. I saw a picture of that today. How about that?
Probably loved
Pope, who has tried deep dish pizza.
Loved Michael Jordan, I'm assuming. Loved Scottie Pippen.
A Pope who has loved deep dish pizza. That is bizarre.
That is amazing. And that's theme, magic, and mojo for the city of Chicago if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, now you got to win games. And big magic for... we were saying this on the golf course earlier. Notre Dame's got to be really pissed off.
Yeah, they've lost their thunder.
They didn't get the Pope.
Nope.
The Catholic school of all the Catholic schools. They didn't get it.
Dame, they lost their thunder.
That would drive me nuts if I was a Notre Dame fan. I didn't get the Pope. What do you mean we didn't get the Pope?
Your sister went to Notre Dame. We should ask her.
I don't think she cares. But Notre Dame fans who care about the prestige and the word Notre Dame and you're not. You could do a word to Villanova and you're not. We got the Pope and you don't.
Yeah.
They could do that.
God, that rhymes too.
Uh-huh. We got the Pope and you don't. Let's do a little Blitz the Book presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Send some heat. Pin your ears back. It's time to Blitz the Book. Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Blitz the Book presented by Hard Rock Bet. We're going to put together a parlay on the app, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple apiece, and especially with the games throughout the weekend, we don't necessarily are restricted to tonight, but Mike, Damien will help us out as well. Let's start with the games tonight, and anything you're particularly hot on. I know you want to take Cleveland.
You want to stay away from that game, though, so I respect that.
Damien, are you -5? It's -5 on Hard Rock Bet. Cleveland Cavaliers are favored over the Indiana Pacers in Game 3.
If I were to pick one of the two, it would be Cleveland. I think Mobley, Garland, and everybody that was out plays tonight, and I mean they're in desperation mode.
Are they playing tonight? Have we found that out yet?
They were full goes in practice and shoot around. They're still
I'm
listed.
assuming they will play.
Guys, they're still listed as questionable. I don't want to sit here and give you 100% when I don't know yet. But Colin doesn't like the game. Let's just pick the OKC. I like OKC. I think Oklahoma City's the better team, and I was shocked they lost in Game 1. And I mean, 44. What did they win by? 45 points last game. That was similar. That was Cavalier-esque when they played the Heat. If I had to pick an NBA game,
Denver rolled over. Denver didn't care, but yes.
Fair. And the Joker fouled out in the third quarter. Colin, if we're picking as a collective, I think the only game we should take on the NBA side tonight should be Oklahoma City. But if you like the Nuggets, make your case, brother, because I'll listen to that as well.
The one thing I'll say, it's the first game in Denver. Denver sort of had a rest day almost in game 2. But I'm okay with going with OKC -6. Okay. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think they're going to steal one of the two. I'm not sure if it's going to be tonight. I'm not sure. I think there's
Dane,
maybe
do you lean anywhere tonight with that?
I don't mind that OKC pick.
Right,
they're the best team in the league, and they're going to show it for a reason.
So let's do OKC. And then, Kyle, the game everybody's waiting for is the Boston and the Knicks.
That's tomorrow.
Plus 5.5 on their home court, the Knicks, by the way. Wow. 5.5 at home. Now, I like the Celtics. I do. But that's my theme. My theme right now.
Let's go with the Knicks there.
Okay. Because I was about to say, my theme is that I think these 0-2 teams are going to be able to squeak back into the series. But I agree with Colin. We got to take one. We got to take one dog. You know what I mean? I'm fine with taking the Knicks at home, laying 5.5.
Weirdly enough, I'm more comfortable taking the Pacers than the Knicks, but I will take the Knicks plus 5.5 because I'm rooting for a good game. That's what I'm rooting for. Close game, biggest game in MSG in years, in my opinion. On the basketball side, let's do that.
It's going to be rocking in there.
Panthers, Maple Leafs. Should we take the Panthers to win? -240 to win.
It's not worth it.
-105, -1.5 on the actual goal spread
on the goal
is
line.
plus 105. Or you could do over under 5.5 goals. I think we should do over 5.5 goals. It's -145.
We'll tail that.
I like that. That's a good one. Dallas, Winnipeg tonight. Dallas is plus 120. We don't need to take that. I don't know if we need to take a late game there. MLB, anything we like?
Yeah.
Cubs, Mets today.
I'll find some games. Give me.
They got Holmes on strikeouts today. Texas and Detroit. Pittsburgh just fired their manager.
Correct. Is there a new manager bounce there?
Let's do that.
You want
against Atlanta at home plus 125.
Falter? Okay, add that. Elder's on the bump too. 5 ERA. I'm not that necessary fan of him.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Plus 125. Pittsburgh Pirates over Atlanta.
The Redbirds, the Cardinals have won 5 in a row. Do you want to fade? I say we fade. Hear me out on this. The Cardinals on the road 4-13. And they're 19-19 on the season. Isn't that crazy? Do you want to take Parker tonight and the Nationals? Mitchell Parker?
All right, the Mets got Holmes out there.
But like 5 in a row. I think
a lot of offense on both those teams. I would stay away from that.
I think we take, Kyle, if you're over there adding, I think we add Nationals to win with Mitchell Parker on the bump.
That makes it a 5-bet parlay plus 2,600.
Love it. Love it. Do you want me to add more?
No, okay. I think that's fine. Thunder -6, Knicks plus 5.5 on the spread. Over 5.5 goals. That's what I would root for. There's been offense all series. I have a hard time seeing that kind of taking a turn. Over 5.5 goals, total goals of Maple Leafs at the Panthers tonight in Game 3. Pirates to win against the Braves at home, and the Nationals to win against the Cardinals at home.
Kyle, I wish I could bet on an error at first base for the Red Sox.
I don't think they have that.
They
have
don't.
That line?
They
Did you just check?
They don't have
You just checked?
They don't have
You didn't check.
But at the same time, God, maybe we should fade the Red Sox. Maybe we should fade the Red Sox. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. We don't have to. I'm just throwing it out there. I wish I could take an error at first base, but sadly, that is not.
I don't think that's on the Hard Rock Bet app. If you're listening, Hard Rock, maybe you could add something like that.
That is not being offered.
So I like that. That's our little parlay for today, plus 2,600. 5 legs. Thunder, Knicks, over goals in the Maple Leafs, Panthers, Pirates, and Nationals to win. What a bizarre parlay. What a bizarre one.
Very much so.
Well, I'm fine with that. That's $1 to win 27. That's $5 to win 135. That's $10 to win 270. Sign me up. All right, cool. Are we going to be coming in on Monday and we're going to be having a funeral for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
You tell me, mate. I think we're going to get right back in this and be 2-2. So I'm confident. I'm more confident that the Celtics will get back in the series. I gotta warn you guys. If it's a sweep, you're gonna have to scrape me off the ground on this show. If the Cavs go 0-for, Colin's gonna have some serious scraping off the floor to do to me on this show. I do think they're gonna win. They're gonna win a game. It's been too close. But can I be honest? Like, even 3-1, you're gonna have to scrape me off the floor. If the Cavs don't win the next 2 games, I'm gonna be a miserable. You know what? I really am. Yeah.
Down 3-1 with 2
You're
home
done.
games, but yeah,
You're done.
You're in a lot of trouble. You're in a lot of trouble. That'd be a hard one to overcome. Big thanks to Damien for keeping us up on the airwaves. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo will be back at it on Monday. You can listen to Mike tomorrow on Saturday. Tailgate at 9 a.m. You can also listen at Inter Miami. What time is that?
It's a 4:30 kickoff, 4 o'clock start on the English side, and it is a 3:30 start on the Spanish side. Also, Damian Perez in the house for Saturday tailgate tomorrow.
Stay tuned for that. Sunday Huddle with myself and Cade Chumsden, Sunday at 10 a.m. We'll be back at it on Monday, hopefully with a lot to talk about on Russo and Rizzo. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you over the weekend. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay focused. It's been ESPN 106.3.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial.